What's up, guys? My name is Sebastián and welcome to another episode of The Seba Show. And today I'm going to review the third episode of Marvel Studios' first official show titled Wandavision. I say official because, we have Marvel Television, but this Marvel Studios first show. And first of all, you're going to say, the third episode, where's your first two episodes? Well, I didn't review them here, but I did a spoiler-filled discussion on my other channel, Hablando Shit. If you speak Spanish, you can go ahead and watch that. It was a lot of fun discussing those first two episodes. But I decided to do some formal reviews right here on this channel right here. And the spoiler discussions, I will do them on Hablando Shit. But the formal reviews would be right here on the Seba Show. And the spoiler-filled discussions will be right there on Hablando Shit with my co-host Augusto Blanc, which we go full in depth and just talk about everything that happened on each episode. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to do non-spoilery. I mean, I'll try my best to be as non-spoilery as I can with this show, but at the end of the review, I will go details with spoilers and kind of discuss the things I want to talk about. But again, non-spoilers. There's no spoilers right here. At the end, there will be some spoilers, so you've been warned. So I guess I can kind of recap what's going on with the first two episodes. I mean, I guess this is the point where there has to be a little bit of spoilers, just a little bit of spoilers. We know, somehow we still don't know exactly what's going on, but we know that maybe Wanda, or both Wanda and Vision, are somehow in a simulation or something, like a different world. It's not their world that they're known to. They're somewhere else. And as we know, they've been in these sitcom versions of their shows, which is great, by the way. I loved how they're very faithful to the concept of the sitcom shows of those past decades that they recreated. From the 50s doing a I Love Lucy kind of deal, from the 60s doing a Bewitched kind of deal right there. It was very well done. The filmmaking of it was to the key. I was just transported directly to those shows I watched on TV Land or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, this looks exactly like those kind of things. And from the laugh track, which by the way apparently did actually film, I don't know if they did it for every episode, but I know that specifically the first one they actually filmed it in front of a live audience, which that's the title of the first episode, which is weird. I mean, first of all, there were no titles, and then when I started watching this one, I saw titles for them. So I don't know if this is were they always there, or for some reason didn't show up for me for a while, which is good because I thought, I was okay, it's just title episode 1, 2, and 3, but I like that they give some titles now. But yeah, I was surprised to know that those episodes were so faithful to the concept and the storylines of a typical sitcom shows of the decade. I thought they were gonna, kind of wink and nod to the camera, but get to the story of what's going on. But no, they just follow the plot of a sitcom. It's just done very well. It's not like it's boring. Sometimes, I mean, the first time I remember kind of being a little bit bored through some of it. I'm like, okay, I just want to get into the stuff about what's going on. But on my other rewatches, it's good. I mean, even my first time watching it, it was funny. Some stuff was funny. Sometimes I think purposely not funny. It was supposed to be cheesy and pretty bad, but it's still charming. It's so charming. And I said that I loved Vision in that show. He was so funny in those past two episodes, and Wanda's very good, and she was also pretty funny as well. But Vision's the one that stood me out with I don't know, Paul Bettany's super funny, but Wanda's she's also charming. I think Elizabeth Olsen does a great job of bringing that personality, that good likeness to it, and I think she's also can be funny. But I think obviously they can do the typical thing where the bumbling husband and the smart wife. But both episodes were good, and obviously as we saw, there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. There's some it's good because it's funny as its own sitcom show. But when we get to the stuff that's going on in the actual story of the entire the series, it gets eerie, it gets creepy. It's it just gets on you. It's oh my god, this is disturbing. It is creepy, but it's super good. So the first two episodes were kind of good, but we got hints, little bits of the stuff that's going on. We see little bits of hints like moments through it. But in this episode, I will say that they kind of flesh it out a little bit more, which, by the way, I love that this third episode, I mean, we're seeing that through each one, we're going through a different decade. So, of course, this episode is the 1970s, which I love the intro, and I also love that every episode is a different intro for every decade. And this one is so good. It's like very like an homage to Brady Bunch and a lot of 1970s sitcom shows. Very well done. Very well done. I think maybe a little bit of like a love bug going on. I don't know. But I think it was mainly the Brady Bunch. I love the music. The music for every theme song is so good. Props to the music department. It very well done. Very well done. I think it's I don't know. It's like very creative and original. I can listen to any theme and just enjoy them instantly. So the intro for this one is like the most elaborate one. I mean, the 60s was like, I mean, well, everyone is elaborate in his own kind, but this one is like shows a little bit more about the set and I don't know, maybe more movement around the different areas, but it was very good. And of course, akin to what's going on in the past few episodes, this one is like you know, right through and through a sitcom show. We're seeing the typical situations of the marriage, of them trying to like be normal and not get caught by anybody, being, you know, getting called out like, oh my god, they're freaks. What's interesting about this episode is like, the past few episodes we kind of were a little bit more around the house, but this one was mainly most of the time inside the house. They barely left it. Episode 2 kind of saw they left the house for the most of it. For this one, it's like right in the house for the 95% of it. So it was interesting. It was also interesting to finally see a little bit more Vision as himself and not Paul Bettany. And I think he looks wonderful. He looks fantastic. I love the design. I think this is like one of the best we've seen Vision, like appearance wise. Looks awesome. Also, I love the outfits, like the super authentic like 1970s outfits. The setting, the set of the house was great. It looked amazing. And we have some returning characters that we've seen throughout the show. But interestingly, Angie, which I thought, or Agnes, sorry, I thought she was going to be like a main staple of the show. That she's going to keep happening, like occurring every episode. This one, pretty absent for most of it. I'm like, oh, okay, that interesting. I didn't expect that. I thought she was, you know, going to show up a lot. Like they were going to like, you know, we got Catherine Hahn. We're going to put her on everything we can. But yeah, what I love about this one is like, instead of focusing on these other characters and the side stories or what, or not side stories, but focusing on these other people with Wanda and Vision being around them, I love that it's focused more on Wanda and Vision, you know, about their situation. It was like very good, and I thought there's a lot of stuff going on, especially, again, I got wrapped up on the actual sitcom plot and not the plot of the show. I mean, yes, I did get wrapped around the plot of the series Wandavision, but of the sitcom that there's in, I got wrapped up on that shit. I was like Wanda, please, Wanda, please. So a lot of good stuff in there. I enjoyed it, but the stuff that we, you know, I guess a lot of people want to know, and I guess mostly enjoy. I mean, if you don't enjoy the sitcom stuff, I get it, because you didn't come in to watch a sitcom. But you kind of have to know what you know, kind of the premise is from, you know, the trailers and, you know, what you're advertised of. So I don't know. I say I enjoy the sitcom stuff, but this episode focused a lot on what's going on, the makings of what is going on, and there's different theories of like what's going on. And I'll say my theory at the end of like my spoiler-filled section, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's kind of showing us more of what is really happening. And I think, you know, there's moments that I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I kind of got tense, and I kind of got like you know, jittery, and I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What is going on? So very exciting on that part. But again, I'll talk about it at the end. But everything from the sitcom plot was good, but from the actual like kind of expanding more of what is actually going on, great job on there. So I think mix those things together makes for a great episode. I think this is my favorite episode of the show so far, especially the setting that they're doing it. I think I got a little bit more creative. You know, obviously they used the colors, even the visuals. I mean, it was great. I mean, I think the visual effects here are fantastic. I think maybe one visual effect didn't look so good sometimes, but other than that, the rest of it looks great. I mean, everything, especially they're trying to play with the effects of the times of the 70s. You know, I think there's some homage to maybe like one, was it $1 million, right? The $6 million man, from that kind of, I think they kind of give an homage to that. But also like some just quick little stuff, and maybe, I don't know if they made it on purpose, but like maybe there's like a quick frame of like, oh, Vision is like walking down the stairs or something, but it looks exactly like a shot from a 1970s TV show. I don't know, it looked, you know, you don't see those kind of like frame rates in any other show or any other movie of any other decade. It's like mostly straight from the 70s. So I don't know if they did it on purpose, but it made me think of that. So I think they did. Everything here was great. I think Wanda was very good in the show. I think they kind of have more stuff to do, and I think it was older and had more stuff to do, because again, I think the stuff she had to do in the first few episodes was, you know, like the stereotype like housewife, like, oh, everything's good. But now, since they're like in the 70s, they're kind of showing the evolution of women throughout the decades, so that's very good. I think Wanda has like plenty of stuff to do. I mean, she was great. She still had like, you know, like very straight-laced, I'm not, you know, like, I'm not gonna get pushed down by a man, you know, kind of thing. You know, that she's not like the traditional woman of those decades that people were used to. But I hear more than ever, and I love that sometimes they reference the sexism of the past decades. You know, I love that Wandavision was like, really? So I was like, I love that. I love that. I was like, that's great. And they also kind of do tackle on some stereotypes. I mean, purposefully do these stereotypes. Which is interesting. I wonder like how those like actors kind of get to them, because I remember like there's this one guy in episode 2, Herb, which I was like, man, this guy's like a stereotype, but I guess it was made on purpose. So I wonder like how he felt to do like reenact a stereotype. I mean, I guess they kind of know like what's going on, but I just think that discussion is interesting to have. So the sitcom plot of this episode was, you know, more extravagant and bigger than the past 2 episodes, but it's not only that, but it's also big in scope of what's going on around, you know, like the story of like what's going on. So yeah, I think this episode was great. It was very well done. It's racking up now. It's increasing up more. I'm more excited, and I'm now to the point I'm excited seeing like, I mean, I was excited to see these episodes, but like now it's like it's getting bigger, we're kind of like expanding stuff. Now I'm more excited for episode 4 and the future. Like I want to know like what is going on, and I love that I'm still like puzzled of what is actually going on. I have no idea. So that's great for me to know, to have this mystery. And I think that having this weekly type of deal, it works pretty well, because now we can have these discussions with people instead of just having like the whole chunks like from the get-go. So now I wonder like what's going on. So I really enjoyed this episode. I loved it. I mean, again, Wanda and Vision were charming. I think them as a couple, as a pair, are fantastic. And Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen are wonderful. They have a great chemistry. And everyone that else that showed up did good. I don't want to spoil it, who shows up. But I think it was very well done. So I gotta give this episode a 10 out of 10. It was great. You know, I mean, maybe the one visual effect is weird, but I was intrigued from the beginning to the end. I was thinking it was very super well done. So I enjoyed the hell out of this. So what do you think about WandaVision episode 3? I think it was titled Now in Color. It was a great episode. So hell yeah, man. I loved the episode. So now I'm going to go into spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, stay away, because I'm going to get into it. Because, man, it was hard to not say spoilers to kind of express my feelings. But here we go now. So, holy shit, like, what was going on right there? I mean, I love everything about this plot of Wanda having a baby and how it's affecting her powers and how it's affecting her surroundings, which it is good. It's like typical, like, show about a superpowered person trying to, like, hide from people, you know, it's typical stuff. But they did very well done. I think Tommy and Billy, which, you know, we saw that they have twins. I think they're supposed to be from the Young Avengers, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't think these babies are gonna reappear after this simulation that they're going that they're in, but it's good, I guess, for like Easter eggs or like references to comics. That's cool. We see more what's going on. I have a feeling, the theory that I want to say is I think, I mean, as we kind of see it, they're kind of experimenting on her, but I also have a feeling maybe Vision might be in there for real. It's not like he's fake, but I have a feeling that Wanda somehow has control of what's going on, because as we saw, the ending was insane, by the way. Carrot kind of figuring out that Geraldine might be an agent or something. To her, like, we don't know what happened. Like, did she push her off? That she knew that she's in a simulation of some sort? Because as we saw in episode 2, when she saw this dude coming out of the sewer, she was like, no. And then everything, like, turned back to the scene before it left the house. So, like, is she kind of playing part? I mean, I don't know. Because, again, there's parts that she questions what's going on. But I guess she doesn't want things to break away from the great fantasy that she's having. You know, being back with Vision, having this family, having these cute moments. I guess in parts she doesn't know what's going on. But in parts she doesn't want to lose this good life that she's having. That's interesting. I think... I don't know. There's something going on with that. I think she's doing some stuff. She kind of knows what's going on a little bit. But again, Vision might be real, because he's also like, throughout the whole episode and throughout the series, he's questioned stuff about what is going on. Like, this stuff doesn't make any sense. As we saw, like, these freaky moments from Herb kind of slicing through the fence, like the brick fence. I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, I guess so. I guess I went through it. Oh, that's nothing. Like, stuff is going on. I still don't know what's going on, because I felt like they were programs, or they're like actors, but they kind of brainwashed in a way. But as we kind of see, I think they're actors and they do know what's going on, but I don't know if they're based on their will or they're forced to do these things. Because as we saw at the end, Agnes and her were kind of saying like, oh, is Geraldine in there? And they were like, kind of look at each other like, don't fuck it up, man. Like, don't fuck it up. And then Herb was gonna basically say like, oh, we're here because of, you know, like, we have to. So I don't know, maybe they're doing this because of Wanda specifically. I don't know, maybe Vision's not really there, but Vision somehow is creating consciousness. I believe that somehow Vision there might be a new version of Vision. It's not the Vision that died. I think this is a different Vision, you know, a different guy somehow might get out of there. But I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think from whoever it is, I think they're putting Wanda and Vision in this actual constructed neighborhood, because it's like they have this force field around. I don't know what's going on. I think even Geraldine kind of revealed like, oh, is she a bad guy? Is she not? But I think that she kind of knows sometimes what's going on. Sometimes she doesn't know, because as we saw, she was like, wait a minute, your brother died from Ultron, right? Like, it's like somehow whoever it is, they're controlling these people that are working towards building the show, you know, like, we're these characters, but at the same time, like, it's like they know what's going on. Like, sometimes I guess they forget what's going on because they're brainwashed. I still don't know. That's what I love. I'm clueless as to what the hell is going on. This is so interesting. It's freaky, and I love it. And if I'm not correct, I mean, I will still like my host on Orlando Shit. He said that Geraldine might be the little girl from Captain Marvel. Is she that? I don't know. I don't remember if that's her name, but let me know in the comments if that's correct. But I guess she's sort of good, because when she got caught, she was like wait, like, it's like, I don't know if she's on whose side. Like, is she on? Is she from Sword? As we know, Sword's the one running this. Or is she forced by Sword, and she kind of doesn't know what's going on, but at the same time she's kind of like WandaVision, kind of getting to know what's really going on. Like, she's figuring out stuff on her own. I don't know. She's very interesting, and I guess we'll see some stuff from her next episode. Maybe she won't get back. She won't come back to this 80s sitcom, But I'll be interested to know if we're gonna finally see what's going on outside of the sitcom show, like through Geraldine's perspective, I guess. I don't know. That's what I love. And these things, as we see, there's no post-credit scenes on these shows, or at least for this one. So we don't know what's gonna happen on the next episode. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they have like previews for next episodes. I didn't see one. I don't see them anyway. But I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's like I thought Agnes, like one theory was like I thought Agnes was the one running things, but I guess she's not. I'm still not gonna let her go. I still think she has some stuff going on, but maybe she's not like the head of this whole organization or whatever as I thought. Also, like the stuff from like For the Children episode 2, is that a reference to something? I don't know. Is that a hint for what's gonna happen? It's crazy stuff. I don't know what's gonna happen. So let me know what are your theories for what's going on in the show. What do you think is gonna happen as we see throughout the rest of the show? I don't know. That's what I love. I haven't been on a show where I've been so intrigued and so clueless of what's going on in a long time. So I'm loving this. I cannot wait for next week. So let's discuss in the comments. Obviously put spoiler tags so people don't know. The people who haven't seen the show don't get spoiled and get mad at me. So let's talk in the comments, and yeah, so stay tuned for next week. Stay tuned for next reviews or whatever kind of show we're gonna do right here on the Seba Show. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Good, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until next time, my name is Sebastián Productions, and you are watching the Seba Show.